How can someone learn to change chords faster?
That is an amazing question. How can somebody learn to change chords faster? And probably just like most of my answers, what I'm going to say is probably not what you're going to expect. And I'm going to give you a specific example. Actually, there's going to be two things because there's so many different chords you can play, right? There's so many different ranges of things that you can do. So I'm going to give you two answers. One is it depends on what fingers you're thinking about. That's going to apply for most people when they play open chords. And then the second is training, and I'll get to that in just a moment. The first one is thinking, chord thinking, right? If I'm playing open chords like a G chord, C chord, maybe a D chord, something like that, whoever is learning chords for the first time, or maybe they've played them for a little while, but they just kind of struggle with changing chords. They struggle with the timing. They struggle with getting to the next chord on time. Maybe their fingers don't cooperate. Their fingers don't do what their brain tells them to do. Or it's a struggle. You have to build the chord one at a time, makes your hand hurt. You can't get to the next chord on time, etc. There's one common reason that this happens. And like I said, we're going to talk about two things. One is chord thinking. Another one is the training aspect to it. So if on the open chords, for example, when I go from a G chord to, let's say, a C chord, most people use their index finger for everything in life. Want to answer the phone? Boop. Want to get some money at the ATM? Boop, 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 boop. We use our index finger for everything. Want to point at somebody? Want to ask a question? We always use this finger. So most people think, well, to build the C chord, number one, they're going to say, I'm building the chord, right? They're going to start with their index finger. Look where the rest of my fingers are. Is that anywhere close to being on the fretboard? No. So it's going to take time to move all my fingers. But what people do is they start with their index finger, then they go with their next finger like this, and then they go finally with their third finger. Now, if I'm going to do this, 1, 2, 3, and I have to go from a G chord to do that, that's like 4 steps. I got to go from my G chord, and I should immediately be going to a C chord, but I got to do this, 1, 2, 3, 4. Way too long. I'm already way behind the song. I'm already off beat. I already can't do it, right? When you think about building a chord, building something takes time. And in music, you usually don't have a lot of time to change something. You want to be on the G chord, and then you want to be on the C chord. You don't want to have to build it, right? You want to just go there. So most people think, again, with their index finger. And the problem with changing open chords is that most people think about leading with the wrong fingers. That causes them to build a chord. I'll say that again. When most people are trying to learn and change their open chords and get faster at doing it, the finger that they think about leading with causes them to have to build the chord. And that's what causes them to be late. And also, another thing to consider is this: whatever you practice, you get better at. So the more I try to go from this G chord to the C chord by building it, guess what? The better I'm going to get at trying to build it, and the more ingrained it's going to be to do it this way. And then by that time, it's a bad habit. I can't not do it. It's really hard for me to change it. I'm always behind. My rhythm stinks. That's part of the dangers of not having proper guidance and somebody to show you something like this, right? So what's a better solution? Well, changing the chord and building it one by one seems logical. And for playing the chord for the very first time, sure, just get your fingers on the strings, right? But realistically, humans, our hands, our bodies are built in a certain way. So we need to be ergonomic in the way that we decide to change things, the way that we decide to move around. So if I'm going to go from a G chord to a C chord, instead of leading with my index finger, this one, which causes these other fingers to go way out here, I'm actually going to think, when I think about a C chord, I actually think about my ring finger. Why? Because when I go from G to C, I lead with my ring finger. Now look at my hand. My hand is almost in a C shape already, just by leading with this one finger right here. And when I put that on the right note, the rest of my fingers are almost in place. And then I can just get used to setting them down at the same time. That's it. So you play a G. I think about leading with my ring finger in the case of a C chord, and then I set all the notes down at the same time. I set all my fingers down on the notes at the same time, and then I strum the chord. Then I'm on time. So that's part number one. Now, how do you get better at doing this? This is the training aspect. The training aspect is just simply doing it and doing it slow enough to where it's easy to do. For example, I wish I could turn this around and play it left-handed, but if I'm playing a G chord, I can wait as long as I want to move my hand to a C chord, leading with my ring finger, and then I can press the strings down, and then I can strum again. And then I go back to G chord. And then I lead with my ring finger again. I'm thinking about my ring finger. My hand automatically goes to the C shape. I press the notes down. Now I play it. Now, how do you train on that? Well, first you just get used to it. And then second, you speed it up a little bit. And you just go a little faster. And you do it until you can do it well. And then you speed it up a little more. And then you do it until you can do it well. Then you speed it up a little more. You do it until you can do it well. And then you can start adding in different rhythms, different things like that, which will just further ingrain in your mind and in your hand the connection here of what is a C chord shape. When I think C, boom, my hand automatically does that. And yours will too when you do it this way. So anyway, I know we talked about specifically open chords with this, but these concepts apply to any chord that you're possibly playing.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. We would love it if you hit the like button, leave a comment below, tell us what you thought about it, and subscribe to the channel. We're going to release really great content, some great backing tracks so you can practice your guitar skills on. And if you're interested in taking your guitar to the next level, we have a free course that we want to give to you. It's in the description of this video. It's going to help you discover how to freely express yourself on guitar without endless amounts of scales and theory. So check it out and let us know what you think. Thanks.